Now, let's go over all of the major components you will receive in your kit. Barrel clamp, disc cover, barrels, motor, mount arm, spade grips, gun control unit or GCU, optic mount, feeder delinker, main rotor housing, mounting pintle, plastic hub, disc, and locking ring. Step 1. Assembling the base. The base consists of the disc rotor and a plastic hub. Put the plastic hub upside down, revealing the 5 holes. We want to align the holes in the disc with the holes in the hub. There are 5 plastic grommets. Press each plastic grommet into the holes in the disc. Then, insert the 5 quarter-20 bolts into the grommets. Tighten snug, do not over-tighten. You don't want to risk stripping out the threads. Then, turn over the disc. Grab the center mount pintle. Push it down through the center of the disc until it stops. Turn the disc on its side and install the locking ring on the bottom of the pipe. Push the ring on all the way, up against the disc. Now tighten the hex screw until reasonably tight. The pintle should now be tightly secure inside the base. This will ensure a firm, steady mounting arm. Step 2. Installing the mount arm. Before installing the arm, add the disc cover. The arm will have the lanyard quick-release pins pre-installed. Center the arm over the base and drop the arm over the pintle. Insert the larger 5/16 quick-release pin into the base as shown. This will lock the arm to the base. Step 3. Installing the main rotor housing. Pick up the main housing. Carefully insert the main housing pintle into the upper arm bushing. Insert the smaller quarter-inch quick-release pin into the hole near the top of the arm. Step 4. Installing the motor. On the housing there are 3 mounting holes. Attach the motor using the 3 quarter-28 aircraft bolts. Hand tightening is sufficient. Do not over-tighten. Step 5. Mounting the spade grip and gun control unit. There are 3 quarter-20 bolts that fasten the spade frame onto the rear of the housing using attached spacers. Insert the 3 bolts through the holes and the spacers. On the back of the housing there are 3 lugs that the spade frame mounts to. Position the screws to line up with the housing lugs. Tighten the screws until finger tight. Now we'll install the gun control unit. Carefully slide the gun control unit in between the handles and front of the frame. It's a bit tricky. Align the 2 holes in the top of the frame to the holes in the top of the GCU. Insert the 1032 screws through the top into the GCU and hand tighten. Now let's connect the larger cable to the motor. The receptacle is slotted just like the real thing, so the connector needs to align with the receptacle on the motor power box. Thread the connector on until it stops. On the other side of the GCU, connect the smaller cable labeled clutch to the solenoid receptacle. Once it's aligned, push down and twist clockwise. It locks into place. Step 6. Installing the barrels. The barrels insert into the main rotor. They each have a cam at the back that allows it to only be inserted one way. Insert each barrel into the rotor. Once inserted, carefully rotate the barrel 180 degrees. This will lock the barrel in place. Next, install the barrel clamp. Align the holes in the bottom of the clamp to the tips of the barrels. Then, gently slide it over the barrels. If the clamp does not slide on past the cams on the barrels, slightly adjust the rotation of each barrel so that the clamp can slide over the cams. Insert the long ⅛ bolt to lock the clamp in place. Use the provided plastic spline nut to secure the bolt. Remember, hand tight is sufficient. Step 7. Installing the feeder delinker. Installing the feeder delinker is easy. There are 2 forks on the front that locate onto the cotter pin on the front underside of the main housing. Slide the feeder delinker onto the cotter pin at the front. Then, rotate the unit upward and align the holes in the feeder delinker to the holes in the main housing. Once aligned, insert the 3/16 quick-release pin to secure the feeder delinker in place. Last but not least, install the optic sight rail. There are 2 ⅛ hex bolts that locate the optic rail onto the top of the yoke. It's hard to get a tool into this area, so use a hex bit or Allen wrench and hand tighten the bolts to secure the optic rail. Congratulations! This completes the assembly of your M134 minigun replica. This fine piece of military machinery is now ready for proud display. Visit us again at M134replica.com.